So right here, you know, I think that the Seattle Seahawks, they don't really, right now they kind of trying to figure out what they want to do with
No,
offense.
you got the Cincinnati Bengals.
Oh damn, I got Cincy. Damn. Okay,
Yeah,
bet.
I got Cincy.
Yeah. So right here, I think this is actually a great fit for Cincy, who also needs to. Again, I think Jahad Campbell personally is going to excel as a three down linebacker, something kind of like Fred Warner, but they are trying to say that he can deploy as a pass rusher too. And I think for Cincinnati, uh, who needs to fill needs at linebacker and also pass rusher, especially because they don't know what's going on with Trey Henderson. I
Did
think
you
they're
did
going
you see did you see the recent comments from like I think their senior vice president? He was on McAfee today.
to. Mhm.
He was
Yeah,
on McAfee, and it kind of felt like he requested to be on McAfee to kind of address those things in terms of, oh well, if he wants to play here, he should be, it might be due to his own happiness, so it's up to him. Some very very weird comment, to be honest. So
I mean,
I don't know what's going on there.
yeah, I mean that's a Jerry Jones play. That's what I mean. I deal with that shit every fucking week. But it's he's trying to negotiate through the media. You know what I mean? And if Trey Henderson isn't speaking, he can say whatever he wants to say. It's not like Trey Henderson is about to be out here tweeting, trying to correct what's been said. So it's his word against.
Yeah, it was their EVP Katie Blackburn. We'll just see how it plays out. Um, we said that it would be okay to at least explore, and so we don't have to do it all at one time. In this case, we felt like it was the right thing to do, case by case. I mean, it was like a lot of it was like unnecessary, but it was enough for him to want to kind of show his face and kind of use glory to God and I love Cincy and whatnot, but show me
Right,
the money type deal.
right. It's yeah. It's a negotiation tactic. Boom. What happens when the GMs and the VPs speak? The fans believe it and they blame the players. And it works like clockwork. So hey, at the end of the day, I know what I'm worth. Just pay me my bread, bro, and I'll be at training camp.
For sure. For the Seahawks, I'm gonna just go with the best lineman available. Josh Simmons. Coming back from that injury, he seemed fine as of recent. Like he should be good to go for his rookie campaign. And yeah, you got to protect Sam Darnold because we saw what happens when he doesn't have protection. So
Yeah, yeah. And then for Denver, I think
Tampa Bay.
oh, Tampa Bay. What? Oh, damn. Okay, yeah. All right, for Tampa Bay, I think this is where Will John. Well, actually, hold on. Yeah, yeah. I just think based off the talent, this is where if he even gets to this far, this is where Will Johnson stops. Stops at Tampa Bay. Starter day one, outside wide receiver. Todd Boyle's defense. He'll get it figured out.
All right. So for the Broncos, I just love this fit right here, man. I love this fit. Give Sean Payton Luther Burden. Get creative with.
We
We
already
have
have
Court.
Cliff Burton. His name is Marvin Mims.
Uh, maybe this will light a fire under Marvin and be more consistent.
I ain't
Maybe.
spending a first round pick on that shit. The light of fire in his ass. It's like, look, boy, you either getting traded or yeah. If I drafted Luther Burton, I'm that don't buy here. Do not buy a house in Denver. All
Hey
right.
man, well not much invested in the Mims. So you got Evan Ingram there now, Cortland Sutton. You do have Mims, but hey, maybe just be a good kick returner for you long term.
Yeah. So here, Pittsburgh, for some reason they think they're gonna be lucky enough to have a quarterback that's good at football drop to them. That's just the definition of delusion. But
Yeah, what Pittsburgh's doing right now at the quarterback position is just so it's head scratching for sure. It's confusing.
I mean, it's just Pittsburgh. They do stuff differently, and I think here though, they do stuff differently again, and they go ahead and they do the pick a unconventional pick early in the first round. Well, in the back of the first round, and they go running back Amarion Hampton. They already got DK Metcalf, and they also got YB. What's his name? YB Perkins.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. YB Pickens. So I just think right here, go ahead, get a nice little plug and play 3 down back because they love that. They drafted Najee Harris in the first round, probably around a similar place. So I just think they get a tough runner in Amarion Hampton to be the bell cow back, run him into the ground for the next 5 years.
Okay, cool. So for the Chargers, if this was what I would do draft, this would be Matthew Golden all day. I feel like this is exactly what they need for this offense because that you are in one of the tougher divisions. I'd say a top 2 most difficult divisions, and that's damn near half your schedule, right? So, but this is what I think would happen. I don't see the Chargers going receiver here, especially with their needs on the D line. They have a good amount of choices at edge, and I'm going to pick the best edge available, James Pierce Jr.
Yeah. All right. Green Bay. Yeah, see, I think this one's gonna be tough for Green Bay because they see Kenneth Grant there. And one thing about them is they love a first round defensive football player. And I think they really want to turn the card in to draft him. But they just kind of spent a lot of money investing in the Jordan Love. Offensive line for the most part. It's not the best, but it's intact when they're healthy. They're able to play well. I think this is the one time where they do bite the bullet and they go ahead and they take Matthew Golden to potentially maybe possibly be their number 1 wide receiver. I don't know if he's that type of guy. He kind of reminds me of Romeo Doubs a little bit, but 4.29, it's 4.29, and on film you can see him running routes. So he might be able to create some separation, and if everybody's healthy for that wide receiver group, I think they'd be able to excel, especially with a player like him. So I think they take a shot there.
Okay, going unconventional. I'm hoping the Chargers kind of do that exact thing. Look, this isn't the philosophy, but hey, this is what we're gonna change the script. We're gonna change it up. Yeah. For the Vikings don't have a lot of picks in this year's draft. So I think they should go get a sure thing. I think they're happy that Kenneth Grant wasn't taken by the Packers, and they go ahead and get a player that will help them stop the run in the division with some very capable backs. And very Vikings pick. Try to get. When you're lacking in picks, let's try to get a sure thing. I think Kenneth Grant's a sure thing, day 1 starter.
Hey, this is the ceiling draft. This is the floor draft. It's not the ceiling draft. This is the floor draft. And speaking of floor, I think when the offensive line coach comes through and just says like, "Yo, we don't need this guy. We don't need this guy. We don't need this guy. We don't need this guy." I definitely think it kind of shows your hand, and you're definitely going O-line in the first round. So.
Yeah,
I think was it Gray? Actually, honestly, I can see them liking Josh Connolly Jr., their offensive line coach. It's an old school offensive line coach. I can see him loving Josh Connolly Jr. starting him day 1 at tackle.
Yeah, because the thing with Gray Zabel is he's not going to be a tackle. So you're pretty much drafting a guard after you traded Tunsil. So I definitely think this is more of the pick. And I think they're a little bit blown about how tackles kind of flew off the board here a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're picking at the back of the draft, that's just how it goes.
Yeah, you're playing the hope game. Right? You're playing the hope game. For the Rams, I think for the Rams, you continue to just stack this defense up, man. I think you continue to stack this defense up. And a lot of these guys are more like toolsy traits guys, athletic profiles, long, high upside guys that I think the Rams. I think they're the perfect team picking here in the back of the draft to scoop up Jalen Walker, who I think is more of an edge rusher. But if there's a team that's going to be able to get some, 3-down linebacker play out of them, it would be the Rams.
I mean, yeah, they'll definitely see what they can do with him, see how they can deploy him, and then they'll just go from there. Again, I mean, he's a terrific football player. It's just this is just a weird draft for these type of players. I mean, you can say the same thing about even Shamar Stewart that's down there. Like he can go as high as 12. Honestly, like he could go as high as Dallas, if not, San Francisco. But also, it's like, all right, well, we're drafting this guy purely off his traits because he showed us nothing on film. It's just a risk you got to take. But back here in the draft, I got Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
This is kind of what they do. They just pick from whatever's left. And I think they don't mind getting a player like Shamar Stewart, and seeing how he can fit into their defense. Whether it just be strictly as a run stopping defense, outside defensive end, or him find a way to generate pass rush, even if they got to kick him inside on third downs or something like that. They'll find a way for him to be productive.
Okay. Yeah, so we're going to continue going with some edge rushers here with the Lions. I'm going to have them go ahead and get Donovan Ezeraku.
Yeah.
And, at the end of the draft here, once again, these are all playoff teams. So, you're kind of just getting your pick of the litter. And shit, when you get into those tough playoff moments, those are the key plays. Getting after the quarterback, creating those pressures, keep padding that line. You lose Darius Smith. Aiden Hutchinson's coming back from injury. Get your choice of the edge rushers and keep it pushing.
Yeah. And so then Washington, I actually am interested to see what they do because best player available, I could kind of see them doing that. And I just wonder who they would think the best player available is. I know they're I want to say is Cosme. I know he tore his ACL in that playoff game versus Detroit. So he's probably not going to be – he's probably going to be on PUP to start the season. But, it looks like they kind of use free agency and trading to do what they need to take care of on offense, picking up Deebo Samuel, picking up the left tackle, Jeremy Tunsil. I think they solidify what they want to do there. I think this is where they go ahead and they get Mikael Williams and see if he can contribute with them on the defensive line. Help them generate a pass rush and also help stop and run.
Yeah, he's definitely good at stopping and run at that edge spot. So I do like that pick there, and they're ahead of schedule in terms of their whole roster construction. So they kind of could just go best player available right there. Yeah.
I mean, like I think they would like Ibuka a lot. I just think it's like, we already got Terry. We just invested into Deebo. You know what I'm saying? It's like, do we really want our quarterback throwing it that many times? Like, part of the reason we were doing our thing was because we were running the ball too. So I think that they like the value, but I think they go defense here.
Yeah, but is Deebo currently 2025 Deebo? If you like Emeka Ibuka, does that stop you?
I mean, they paid the money for him. They gave up the capital for him. So I'm not saying that Deebo is this, special player still or anything like that. But if you pay $19 million or take on $21 million, that guy's in your, he's part of the offense. He's involved.
I mean, think about it though. With the Bears, they had 4 picks. They paid Keenan Allen and stopped him from getting a Dunze. Now, they play different roles
Right.
as on the offense, but
But
I don't know.
yeah,
I think you got your superstar quarterback. You need to get yourself like Terry McLaurin. It's like a different generation. He's been in the league for a while,
but I mean, he's working. And again, it just seems I'm just going off of how they're doing things. It seems like they don't mind having veteran pieces in those spots. Like tight end, Zach Ertz, running back.
They had one of the oldest rosters.
Yeah,
last year.
Yeah. So I'm kind of just going off of how they're approaching this thing. They're giving up picks for veteran, pieces. So I just think that that's their approach to this thing. Again, their GM is coming from a basketball background, and basketball, you could care less about young basketball players. Like, you know what I mean? We don't care. We want the established, known piece. We'll give up a first round pick. It's completely different in football, but I don't know if they've came around to that philosophy or if they're just adapting a more basketball philosophy in football.
We'll see this year if the Jaden Daniels first year explosion just kind of saved their roster construction choices a little bit and see,
I mean, isn't that what a quarterback does? Isn't that what I mean? Isn't that what they could do?
Nah, facts. For the Bills, let's see. They have Ed Oliver up the middle, along with what's his name? Daquan Jones. You could do better there. And I think this prospect could go a little bit higher. I could see him going in the late teens easily, but I'm going to go with Oregon's Derek Harmon.
Yeah.
I think this is a need. Pad that D-line. And you could see a trend with these last couple picks. It's all been trenches since the Vikings. Grant, Connerly, Walker, who I consider an edge. Shamar, you in the playoffs, man. You gotta address some trenches.
Yeah, and I mean, this is again, this is you're not going to get the best of both worlds drafting at the back end of the draft. You're going to get a guy that again he probably has the production, doesn't have the traits, or he has the amazing traits, hasn't showed any production. And because of that, you got to believe in your coaching staff. You got to believe in the player and his wanting to have his own development, and hopefully, he works hard enough and he hits. But again, I think that's what kind of happens here with the Chiefs. They're always picking at the back end of the draft. They would love to have a solid left tackle, day one starter, but due to the fact that they're always picking last choice, they just got to settle with the scraps. And I think they go ahead and they get Graves Abel and just let him insert him in at one of the guard spots, if not at center. And they just try to work it out from there. They just drafted a young left tackle last year in the first round, so maybe another year of development under his belt. Give him another shot, throw him out there. Hopefully he can do something. Lucky enough, he's blocking for Pat Mahomes, so his job's not going to be too hard. But, yeah, I think they go O-line here.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, you opted to keep Trey Smith. You got him there, right guard, traded away Joe Thuney. Hopefully he could come in there and replace Joe's role there. So, yeah, can't be too mad at it. With the Eagles, they lost a lot of pieces on defense. So I'm gonna go with a pick that I haven't really seen here, and he's been a recent riser. I'm actually gonna go with Nick Emewarie. For the Eagles, just lost C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I think they were hoping that one of these Georgia guys were there at the back end where they could address losing Milton Williams, who I know he's in the middle. But who else did they lose? They lose Josh Sweat to the Cardinals.
What's going to be crazy?
What?
If they end up with Luther Burden.
I don't know if they go
My only thing is that we already know they don't mind taking shots at wide receiver in the first round. He spent 3 first round draft picks on wide receivers, and it's like then they traded for Jahan Dotson, who was also a first round wide receiver, so they could try to find a wide receiver 3. And I mean, it's like, all right, well, if y'all let him drop, I guess we'll just have Luther Burton on our football team with Saquon Barkley and AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. I guess we'll just give Jalen Hurts every single opportunity to succeed every time he drops back and snaps the football.
I just think with the way they play, they might as well make it easier for Saquon to get into some of them rushing lanes, or give him some more time, give Hurts some more time to get it to Goddard or Smith. But yeah, the Jahan Dotson trade was definitely interesting. So that might be a kind of clue into, and we're kind of looking for that third weapon.
Right. And these cats they're on big contracts, both of them. But you know what I mean? Like, all right, what if maybe they need to get off of one here in the next few years? It's like, all right, well, at least we got Luther in the tuck or something. I'm just thinking, because I mean, I don't want them to have anything good. But with that being said, I got to prepare myself for them making the right damn decision. You know what I mean? It's like, God, I made the right
decision. What do you think about the Imawariye pick?
I mean, I would love that pick. I would love for him, because I don't know if he can play football. So it's like, okay, like, you know what I mean? I'll take it. You know what I mean? I'll take him. We can figure that out. But I want them to miss. I need them to miss.
So you don't agree? You don't agree with his his stock rise then?
I mean, I don't know if his stock has necessarily rise. I think maybe to draft Twitter or that side of it, but I don't know if his stock rose or fell even off the combine. Because one of the things that a lot of these draft scouts, one of their things that they say is, I don't move a player based off of his 40 time. I don't move a player based off of his workout. You know what I mean? So they kind of trust their film, and they saw him on film before he ran that 4.3 at 222 pounds or whatever it is. So, we saw him go crazy, and naturally it's like, oh, we got to check this cat out, like da 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 da. But maybe this second round, late first round, it's always kind of been where he was slotted at based on the measurables.
Yeah, personally, from the tape that I've seen, I don't really see it. I wouldn't say I don't know if he could play football. That's the extreme version of what I've seen. But with Howie Roseman, he's the type to take the draft rise. It kind of feels like he's kind of tapped in the draft Twitter and whatnot. So yeah, that's why I feel like it's a pretty realistic pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably realistic. And again, the way that Howie Roseman plays this stuff is again, they let good football players fall to him. You know what I'm saying? Quentin Mitchell was a good football player. He should not have been there at 27. Cooper DeJean was a good football player. He should not have been there in the second round for the Philadelphia Eagles.
And we're going to do a reaction to our mock draft, our 2024 final mock draft, and you'll see where we had Quentin Mitchell and Cooper DeJean going. The Eagles definitely weren't supposed to get both of them. Just that crazy run on offense early in that draft. But yeah, man, that's definitely what they do, unfortunately, for us NFC Easters, man.
Right. So I mean, it is what it is. They enjoy our misery. So fuck them.
Yeah, Super Bowl champs. But yeah, that's it for that. Matter of fact, like and subscribe. We'll probably knock out 2-3 more mock drafts before the draft here on April 22nd. So stay tuned. You got anything else?
Nah, just like and subscribe.